Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. The French are ready to fight the Russians. Uh, Half of French youth ready to fight the Russians. I have here an article from Ukrainska Pravda, which reveals very well, I think, the psychology of the youth, not in general, but I think nowadays, which is based on movies, video games, telephones, and other garbage. This is a virtual life, and they think the consequences are just virtual. Like you play a game, and then when you play the game, you die, but you don't die. But we have the youth of France, which I don't know exactly what kind of youth those are, if you know what I mean, are ready to fight against the Russians to defend France's interest. What do you mean? So besides the fact that they are very easily impregnated with ideas, youth, what do you want? Then the mass media did a great job. Great job. Now that means that if their government tells them this is in France's interest, they said they will go and fight, actively fight. Now, we have this article, let me show you that, and then we're going to comment on this imbecility. Why? Just bear with me. Ukrainska Pravda. Half of French youth ready to fight in Ukraine to defend France's interest, study finds. Now, people who've been around the block at least halfway know that we might say things, yeah, I'm going to do that, or I'm not going to do that, while not being in the midst of the situation that we will be facing. We all say, yeah, man, I'm going to do that. All right. Or some people will say, obviously, no. But sometimes we're inclined, being outside of danger of the real fight, yeah, I'm going to go there. Now, if you are taken, or you're about to say, okay, now it's time for you to go, you have the second chance to say, no, I changed my mind. Or say, yeah, I'm going to go. Okay, you go. Now, when you get over there and you start being in the midst of the garbage, again, you say, I want back to mommy, it was a mistake, or you go and continue what you said you will do. So I suspect that this youth, the French youth, is, yeah, man, I'm gonna go and fight for France's interest while I'm invaded, actually, like a retard in my own country. But that's not France's interest, isn't it? The French nation. So I guess they are, yeah, I'm gonna go. Why? Because their mass media does a great job on instilling a certain kind of point of view, worldview. So let's see how many French, or how and what the study says about these ballsy French people who are idiots, are being occupied as we speak by their own government, opening the doors for a little occupation. But hey, I moved to France and I'm French. Imbecilic. Now, half of French youth would be willing to enlist until they're, let's go, in the military and fight on the territory of Ukraine if it were necessary to defend France's interest. Well, who determines what's France's interest? Some individuals that you don't know, who will tell some other individuals who you will hear from, and their push will be promoted by the mass media, other individuals that are we're gonna do it, facilitators. So that's how it is. People that you're never gonna hear about make the policies, gave it to their little weasels that they promoted, and open the doors for them. The weasels get elected or not, and they will come and tell you what the interest of you is, what should be your interest abroad. And then the mass media, who is also theirs, will promote the same garbage, and we say, yeah, I think it's French's interest. Oh, les enfants de la patrie, go and die now? Is that what it is? Who determines what are France's interests? My interest, let's put it this way, as an American, could be very different at times to the so-called interests United States of America has according to the elected officials or the government. Sometimes we don't have the same interests. That's true. Sometimes I disagree with certain things. Here it is. Le Parisien, citing, let me put the goggles, citing the results of a study conducted by the Institute for Strategic Research and the Directorate General for International Relations and Strategy, as reported by European Pravda. So these are entities within the French Defense Ministry structure. The study results were published on 12th of April, and the data was collected many months before. The research was led by Anne Papapap, who analyzed a series of surveys, including a questionnaire conducted by Ipsos among 2,300 French people aged 18 to 25. Oh my God, they just finished puberty. In the summer of 2025. No offense, but if you're angry now because you're in that bracket, you can be angry. I was angry as well. But when I passed, some springs, and I went a little bit, I got older, I realized, oh my God, what I knew then about the world and what I know right now. And this changes, or at least nothing changes in the way of improving every day. If you don't learn anything, then you're going to be the same imbecile. Right? So that's why, if you're angry with me saying that at 18, 25, wait until you're going to be 35. When you're going to be 35 and you remember what ideas you have, how strong you were in 18, 19, 20, 21, then you're going to realize, Jesus Christ, so infantile. Maybe I can speak only for myself. No, I'm not, but it's a normal thing. If that doesn't happen to you, that means you didn't evolve. You just remain like in a cave. Like plowing the field. Even if you are plowing the field, you're supposed to learn something about the field, about the weather, about how the cycles and so on. You still have to learn something. If not, baboon. All right, let's move on. Among the questions was, and I'm quoting, if France's defense required its participation in the war in Ukraine, would you be willing to join and to defend your country? Now, this is very weasel. If France's defense required. What do you mean France's defense required participation in the war in Ukraine? These are just getting people ready. This is what I do, my friends. The politicians, when they come up with policies, laws, and then they do this kind of surveys. And they opinion polls, surveys, and then they gauge how the population goes. If it's 51, we can pass that law right now. We got the idiots hooked right now, because they're going to be the one being sent over there, not we or our children. No, they will be. So that's why they gauge, every day they do opinion polls and surveys. And based on that, they know if they should promote this. Is it acceptable? We have a chance. We'll get any people who are going to, pee on the corner of the street because of that or something. So let's go to this here. So that's why this is very weasel-like. If France defense required. No, you got to give me more details on that one. Because in general, yes, of course, if France defense required, who would say no? A weasel, right? Or say, no, and I can't say that because I need more details in order to say yes or no. It's not a yes or no, as for the reasons I mentioned and others. 51 of the respondents, including both boys and girls, answered affirmatively, with 17% giving a very confident response and 34% answering probably yes. In a question not mentioning Ukraine, 57% of respondents expressed readiness to take up arms to defend France in an event of war against someone else on someone else's territory or against your borders, around your borders. Because if someone tells me, let's say, I'm a French guy, all right, and they say, would you be willing to fight in Mali for France's national interest? I would say, fuck no. No, give me more information. Mali, I know where Mali is. I know how Mali is, how strong it is. You tell me that they attacked me or something, national security? I don't think so. It's a rat stinking poo-hoo pretty badly here. Okay, so same. But if they tell me, well, I don't know, the Germans are at the border, ready to invade us again, I'm going to go and fight as a French, or the Russians are at the border, of course. But it's different if you just put it like that. Oh my God, French in event, take up arms to defend France in the event of a war. In Mali, no. But my borders, attacked? Yes. Different. That's what people. I worked with these kind of things. I know how to ask a question in order to solicit a certain answer, to get a certain answer. Or ask it the same issue, a different question will give you a different answer. Why? People are not so, even though they know how to read or listen, they understand the language, it's too fast for them to process so fast. Wait a minute. And besides, they're not free thinkers. Most of them are not. They're baboons after all. We were baboons too, but maybe I can speak for myself, right? Now the age matters. If you were a baboon at 25, then not good. But if you're a baboon at, I don't know, like 60, a different story. If you're a baboon at 12, again, different story. So it depends where in your life, or maybe you were never, but I suspect we all were baboons in our life somewhere when you were 5, 3, 19, 25, 60, or I don't know. Okay, let's go back here. About a third of respondents, 31%, are supportive of potential French military involvement in the war on Ukraine's side. Imbeciles. French military involvement. And who do you think is going to be the French military? You. Jesus Christ. They all think that someone else is going to make their sandwiches for them. Sandwiches. Which is mommy and daddy. Yeah, I'm okay with the military to go over there and fight for me while I'm jerking off and watching whatever things. No? Yeah, we're all good. But how about they say, no, you're going to be going over there. Changes the whole equation. I suspect you're going to get a 1% yes. Maybe not even. Whereas this figure is 17% among the 50 plus age group. So you see, 31% respondents, pop, and 17 older people, less baboons with age. This is the American. 62% of respondents believe it would be appropriate to reinstate compulsory military service, which France abolished in 1997. French media note the data collecting took place long before Emmanuel Macron publicly stated that he does not rule out involving Western allies in Ukraine, sparking heated discussions and public objections from most European capitals. Well, they would change. That would change the take on that, your opinion, your assessment, which is well, how about, as I said, depending how you ask the question. It depends how far you are from being grabbed by a collar and sent over there against your will. You were just drafted, mobilized, mandatory. If you don't, court-martialed or whatever, traitor, and whatever. Okay, so these kind of things are very, very misleading. Nevertheless, it's very revealing, I think, of our development, mental development. The way the worldview that we have, it should be changing. Now you can have the same direction, and rarely you go like the whole thing goes this way, and you add and you change a little bit, go this way, and then you go again this way. But if you go this way and you change 180, I was about to say 360, like Baerbock, the idiot foreign minister of German. Yeah, you have to turn around 380. That was it, 380 or 360? 360, I think. She said. I can't even remember. 360, something like that. Something imbecilic. Actually, it's what? It's no 360. Obviously, it's complete circle, right? So you turn around and come back. 360. That's what I thought it was 380. I was like, what the hell? This is even dumber than I thought. So here it is. We might change this kind of things, but if you change 180 every other year, that means you don't have a foundation. You don't have some principles. You didn't come to say, okay, this is how I am, this is how I want to be, and I have to build this kind of virtuous life, which I say this is truth, this is justice, this is courage, this is wisdom, all these things, and you work on them. Virtues are not just dropped on you by your dad and your mom. No. Virtue, you have to work, and not only work to acquire them. You have to work hard to maintain them against the wind, against the challenges. That's when you are virtuous. If you don't have to sacrifice anything, no virtue, yeah, man, I'm good, I'm courageous, I'm wise, I'm temperate, I'm whatever I am. But when you're supposed to fight for it and say that what is true in front of something with possible consequences, then you really are virtuous. If you're just staying in your bed, yeah, man, I'm gonna fight, man, I'm patriotic, I'm gonna fight. And someone says, okay, now it's your turn, let's go. Now that's when you employ and see, you challenge your virtues. So anyway, they're ready to fight, my friends. And fight in Ukraine against whom exactly? Against the Russians. So through the back door, they are said, you're gonna fight the Russians in Ukraine, and they just wanted to gauge who will be the percentage of people who would be willing, verbal being in their beautiful houses, neighborhoods, and so on. Right, Paris? Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.